Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Story of Sam and welcome back to a brand new NBA video today here on the channel. And today I'm going to be going over what is wrong with the Boston Celtics, why they aren't winning games, and why they're looking like one of the most disappointing teams in the NBA this season. If you guys are brand new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers, and of course, make sure to drop a like. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. If you guys have been keeping up with the NBA world, you would know that the Boston Celtics are really struggling right now. Their record is currently 15-17 in the Eastern Conference. Of course, their record's not going to be 15-17 forever, but right now, that's what it is, and they are currently 9th in the Eastern Conference. The Hornets, Bulls, Knicks, Raptors, Pacers, Bucks, Nets, and Sixers are all ahead of them in the East. And that's just simply unacceptable. The Boston Celtics last year went to 6 games with the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. Surprisingly, the Miami Heat are also 15-17, but right now we're going to focus in on the Boston Celtics and their struggles. And it's even more surprising because Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown are both averaging over 25 points a game. Both Jaylen and Jayson are both automatic All-Stars. They both made the All-Star team. But Kemba Walker, man, Kemba Walker has just not been himself this season. 17 points a game on really poor efficiency. Honestly, I made a video about NBA stars that I think should be traded, and Kemba Walker was on that list. I just don't think Kemba Walker really fits the Boston Celtics playstyle that well. And Kemba Walker is also shooting 37.5% from the field, which is definitely not good at all. And when I look at the Boston Celtics roster, they really struggle with depth. The Boston Celtics really don't have much depth at all. I mean, they have Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker is their third option still. Marcus Smart is out right now. Marcus Smart is of course injured, so I don't want to write the Celtics off completely, but still the Celtics should be way higher in the standings. Even with Marcus Smart being injured, they should still be like a top 5 seed in the East, even with Marcus's injury. But them being 9th in the East right now is just not okay. But I mean, after Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and Kemba Walker, those 4 guys, I mean, Tristan Thompson not too great. Peyton Pritchard has looked good in some of the games, but not all of them. I mean, Grant Williams has been playing okay, but they don't really have a good bench at all. They have Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kemba. Of course, right now with Marcus Smart being hurt, they really don't have many scoring options other than Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kemba Walker, and that's going to be a big struggle for them because after those 3 guys right now, other than Marcus Smart because he's hurt, Daniel Theis is their leading scorer behind Tatum, Brown, Kemba. Just going through their entire team, they have Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Kemba Walker, Daniel Theis, Tristan Thompson, Peyton Pritchard, Semi Ojeleye, Grant Williams, Jeff Teague, Aaron Nesmith, Robert Williams, Javonte Green, Carson Edwards, Tremont Waters, and Taco Fall. Their roster and personnel just is not what it was a couple years ago. If you want to look back at a couple of years ago, like honestly, the 2018-2019 Boston Celtics had a great team. They might have lost pretty early on in the playoffs to the Milwaukee Bucks, but still, this team had a lot of talent. And even the 2020 Boston Celtics, of course, they ended up losing Gordon Hayward. Losing Gordon Hayward was a really big deal that no one really seems to talk about. And when comparing the 2018 Boston Celtics or the 2019 Boston Celtics to the current day Celtics, their personnel is just not there. This was the roster for the 2018-2019 season. You had Kyrie Irving, Jayson Tatum, Al Horford, Marcus Morris, Marcus Smart, RJ Hunter, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier, Aaron Baines, Daniel Theis. They had all those really solid role players, Obviously, they couldn't keep all the guys, but I do think that Marcus Morris was a big loss. Al Horford was a big loss. Of course, Kyrie Irving was a huge loss, but I mean, he kind of wanted out, so they couldn't really do anything about it. They swapped Kyrie Irving with Kemba Walker, and honestly, Kemba has just not performed that great in a Celtics uniform. Terry Rozier is having a great season, but of course, he wasn't really that great like during the 2019 season. It just seems to me like the Boston Celtics really missed out on a lot of big free agents or like trade opportunities like Danny Ainge. I know a lot of people have been getting mad at Brad Stevens, but I definitely think that Danny Ainge is more the problem than Brad Stevens. I know a lot of people want to talk about, oh, fire Brad Stevens, do this, do that, but I do think they should keep Brad Stevens. But I do think Danny Ainge just did a poor job of building the team. Like, they lost a bunch of guys from a couple of years ago. They lost Kyrie Irving, swapped him with Kemba, not really a great replacement. Kemba Walker's just not been that great. Of course, they lost guys like Al Horford, Marcus Morris, Gordon Hayward, and they haven't really got much back, to be honest. I'm pretty sure in the offseason, the Celtics wanted to end up doing like a sign-and trade for Gordon Hayward, like get something back, but he ended up just signing like an $120 million contract with the Hornets, and they got no value back. So I definitely think that Danny Ainge is responsible for some of these Celtics struggles. Obviously, it's not all his fault. The Celtics still have a good enough team to be way over 500, so definitely it's not all Danny Ainge's fault, but still, he's made some questionable moves in the last couple of seasons. The Celtics are 14th in defensive rating and 15th in offensive rating, so honestly, they're just not playing well on either side of the ball right now. I think they need to make a move. I would trade Kemba Walker, get more pieces, get a nice big man. Of course, Tristan Thompson, Robert Williams, Daniel Theis, they aren't terrible, but like they aren't really great centers in the NBA. Daniel Theis has a good game here and there, but he's not like a good starting center in the NBA in my opinion. When Marcus Smart does come back, I think this team will bounce back pretty quickly. I'm not trying to write off the Boston Celtics at all. They're definitely going to make a playoff spot. In my opinion, their floor right now for this season is a first round exit, and their ceiling is a second round exit. Right now, I just cannot see them getting past the second round with their current personnel and team and how they've just been playing overall. Also, the Celtics haven't had their full team like for every game. Jayson Tatum missed a lot of games due to protocols. A lot of their guys have been in and out of the lineup. Of course, Marcus Smart being hurt for like a couple weeks now, maybe even a little bit longer. Kemba Walker's been out a lot of games, so they haven't really played a ton of games together as a whole, but still they've definitely been a disappointing team, and right now the Celtics are not looking too good. What would I do? What would I change? What's wrong with the Boston Celtics? I would just say their health. They got to get a better personnel. I would say trade Kemba Walker, as I've been saying for a while now. Trade Kemba Walker. Just get a big man. Try to sign George Hill if he gets bought out. I just don't think this team right now, as it's constructed, is a championship caliber team. I'm pretty sure even Danny Ainge said that himself. Like, I'm pretty sure he said we're not a championship caliber team right now, and that's on me. He's done a poor job recently, just not making enough moves, not making enough trades, just letting people walk. Like Gordon Hayward, just having him walk was a big loss for the Celtics. So to answer the question of what's wrong with the Boston Celtics, why are they not winning games? It's clearly a multitude of reasons. There's clearly way more than just one reason why they haven't been good this season, but I would sum it up to be players not being healthy, missing games due to protocols. Of course, Jayson Tatum missed a lot of games, Kemba Walker's missed a lot of games, Marcus Smart's still out right now. The Celtics had a terrible offseason, honestly, probably one of the most disappointing offseasons in the NBA. Just losing Gordon Hayward and getting no value back. Danny Ainge completely messed that trade up. He should have definitely got some value back for Gordon Hayward, at least make a sign and trade or just keep him, but he just left for nothing. That was not good at all for the Celtics. And of course, Kemba Walker's struggles did not help the Celtics at all, especially when they needed him to step up a ton this season. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video on what happened to the Boston Celtics, what's wrong with the Boston Celtics, and why are they struggling so much early in the season. Make sure to drop a comment down below. What are your thoughts on the Boston Celtics? How far will they go in the playoffs? What seed will they be? All sorts of stuff like that related to the Boston Celtics. And if you guys are brand new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. And of course, guys, make sure to drop a like on today's video. That would be great. That would help me out a ton. Let's try to get to 15 likes. And if you guys do want to watch one of my NBA or NBA 2K videos, I'm going to leave an end screen right when this video finishes to 2 of my previous uploads that I think you guys would really enjoy. So have a great rest of your day, guys. It's been Story of Sam, and I'm out. Peace.